Westerners worry a lot these days about their land, about too many cattle on too little grass, about the abuse of public land. These questions are important, and so is the fact that there still exists a private life of real cowboys. Cowboys work pretty much as they always have, moving cows, cutting out animals for doctoring or branding. Many cowboys live a life they love. Many care a lot about that land.
A cowboy's life is a very dreary life. Some say that it's free from all care, rounding up the cattle from the morning till the night in the middle of the prairie so bare.
The cattle business may have had a lot of foreign owners, but the cowboy's a local product. Life for him really wasn't romantic. He generally worked for somebody else, the lowest paid, sometimes the loneliest worker of his day.
The rain is so fresh and so cold, we almost freeze from the water on our clothes, and the cattle you can scarcely hold.
Yet, out of this way of life, there's grown a culture that survived the cowboy myth.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Yeah. What a group of jolly cowboys. One day when work was done, decided they would head to town to have a good. If you go out on the trail 7 or 8 people for 7 months, there has to be some etiquette. You're not going to get along. I mean, and if it's 500 miles to the closest town, you can't get mad and quit. As they rode gaily down the trail, hear the old cook say, "I'll hang the key on the bunkhouse door, and boys, don't be late." Now, they had whiskey on the trail rides in the chuck wagon, but the cook had control of it. And some of them cooks has been known to get to ailing about every day, but he had control of the whiskey, and he used it for medicinal purposes only. And by the way, he was the doctor. The cook was the doctor, and he was the veterinarian. And he was usually an old man that got too old to ride, and he was usually pretty cranky. And a cowboy listened to this cook because he was the boss. Oh, hang the key on the bunkhouse door, we'll be late tonight. Always a light a burning dear, we may not look right. Trailing long, going tough, and someone might get tight. You never, ever ride a horse downwind into camp. That's common sense with anybody. The sand, the dust from the horse gets in the beans and the food and in the beds. You make a little circle around camp and come in and you step off of your horse. You take care of your horse. If he needs a little rubbing down, you do that. You water him, you feed him before you go eat. Trail is long, going stuff, and someone might get time. Hang the key on the bunkhouse door, we'll be late tonight. And a cowboy ate with his hat on. When a cowboy got up in the morning, the first thing he put on was his hat. It's a protective device from the weather, from the rain, the sun, and he put it on, and they all wore the bandana. And then you put your spurs on, and you leave them spurs on till night. You never get on a horse without your spurs. Well, city girls are a lot of fun. They can't see our ways, swinging through the old square days on the morning rain. But the bandana, they use them for a bandage, a tourniquet. They use them for a sling if they got an injured arm. In the blizzard where there's sand, they tied it across their face. And if they had cold weather where there was a blizzard, they used it. I've seen them dry dishes on it. I mean, it was one of the most important part of their clothing was that thing right there. There is no such thing as an instant cowboy. There's no such thing as an overnight cowboy. You have to go on and on and on for years and years and years to learn these things that the cowboy knows and does.
My string broke.